Blustery winds didn't stop this group of skaters from venturing out onto the frozen waters of Skaha Lake in Penticton.
From what I gather, it doesn't freeze over like this all the time. This degree of thickness to be able to skate on it, but it does happen. But like I said, not very common.
It's not very common for Skaha Lake to freeze over. Every 2 or 3 years, the water may turn to ice, but it's rare the lake completely freezes over from Penticton to Okanagan Falls, like it has this winter.
Okanagan Falls side, it does tend to freeze up to about a half a kilometer from shore. For Penticton, though, it takes quite a bit for it to go from shore to shore. And I believe probably the last time that did that was about 15 years ago.
This unique event is thanks to the 10-day cold spell that chilled the Okanagan most recently.
Late in the season, it gives the lake a chance to cool down, and then we got a late season cold spell. And at the same time, it came without wind. Like if we'd have a cold spell also with wind, it tends to turn things up and bring up warmer water likely, right? So it was probably a combination of factors that weather-wise that helped to produce the results of Frozen Lake.
At the Penticton Museum, Peter Ord sifts through photos of the past, showing residents enjoying all kinds of winter activities back when the lake would freeze more regularly.
When you do have one of these complete freeze-overs, you'd have quite a bit of ice sailing. There's about 3 or 4 ice sailing boats that locals always talk about, ice skating. There are a couple of stories of a few old-timers driving their car actually from Penticton all the way down to Okanagan Falls and just taking whatever direction they wanted.
But these frozen waters may not last as we shift away from the cold spells and into warmer temperatures.
Now we're getting a westerly flow. This will mean some really significant changes for the valley bottom. We'll see temperatures into the mid and high single digits on some of the days, so maybe like 7 or 8 degree temperatures here in the next week or so. At the same time, though, it's really going to start to snow in the high terrain. So places like Big White and some of the higher elevation passes are really going to start to rack up snowfalls.
Many lakes in the Okanagan freeze over in the winter, from Vasu to Duck Lake. But the real shock, according to those working in the museum, would be if Okanagan Lake was to freeze over. Something that hasn't happened since the late 1950s. However, for those who want to venture out onto the frozen Skaha Lake, a warning from the city. They do not monitor the thickness and say those who use the lake do so at their own risk. Zielinski in Penticton for Castanet News.